Right, time for the papers. It's 8:47 with Emma Wolfe and Kevin Schofield. Emma, apparently nearly half of us, 47%, want another election.
Yeah, well, we've just been talking about the online petition, haven't we? Which I just checked. It's nearly 3 million signatures. And I think there may be actually going to be a debate on this.
There is.
In January.
Scheduled in January the 6th.
It's exciting. Apparently half of voters want another election. Unsurprisingly...
Where's this come from?
This is a poll in the I paper. But unsurprisingly, the support for a rerun of the general election is highest amongst Reform and Conservative voters. 81% of Reform voters and 77% of Conservative voters would like another general election. And obviously, support is lowest amongst Labour and Lib Dem voters, although a third of them would like another general election.
So a third of Labour voters at the last election want to rerun it.
And Lib Dem voters, say they would like to rerun it.
That is interesting. That is significant. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to dismiss... You see, well, all these people who want an election...
Who lost.
Well, they didn't vote Labour anyway in July, so what? But, if a third of people who did vote either Labour or Lib Dem, who you would think would be more sympathetic to the government, that's a big number.
It does highlight the dissatisfaction and the sort of underwhelming verdict on Labour's performance thus far, even amongst their own voters.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Of course, they're not going to rerun the general election.
No.
But I do think this whole movement, I do think the petition... you can't ignore 3 million people. Well, you can ignore them, and they will ignore them, but it's a lot of people.
But it should rattle their cage enough to say, we've got another 4.5 years, we need to start changing a direction.
Yeah.
Is Kemi Badenoch capable of doing that with this sort of ammunition? I mean, will she make a meal of it or not?
I mean...
Have we been impressed by her so far?
The jury's still out. I've written a piece for this weekend, and I've spoken to Tories, and opinions split, shall we say, on how she's done so far. One school of thought is that she needs to be out there more, really taking it to the government. The other school of thought is, look, there's 4.5 years to go to the next election. It's plenty of time. Just, let the government shoot itself in the foot and then just make sure you're a competent alternative come the next election.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wouldn't know how to play it, but I have to say, I mean, what do most people see? And if anything, it's PMQs.
Yeah.
I was going to say, she's been pretty impressive at PMQs.
She's good at PMQs.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, the jury's out on that one. It's like, I think the first couple certainly were a bit...
I thought she was very good this week.
She was better.
But
definitely better.
In the sense that she really makes it seem as though the PM is not answering any questions.
Yeah, she was better, although I think she maybe slipped up by not calling him to resign, but suggesting he might want to resign. You think, well, hang on. Once you've done that, where else is there to go?
Yeah,
once you've asked them to resign once,
just
you
do it
can't
every week
again.
for the next 4.5 years.
Well, he did it.
Exactly.
True.
But
no harm.
You say she was good in PMQs, but who watches PMQs apart from journalists?
That's my
and
worry.
politicians?
Yeah.
Well, it's clipped up though, isn't it? For the even people who just watch stuff later on in the evening.
And
they're not watching it live.
The other point a lot of people make is, well, William Haigh was brilliant at PMQs. Regularly bested Tony Blair.
Yeah.
And yet he got hammered in 2001. So, but the significance of PMQs, I think, is for the people behind you. You put a spring in their step, give them a little bit of encouragement. Well, our leader's on top form, so that's quite good. So it does have its benefits. But you're right, in terms of... One other MP said to me, no one's going to remember what PMQs were like now come the next election. No one's going to be voting based on how Kemi did in 2024.
True.
But she's got to build up
But she does. That's not to give her a pass.
But you're right, it's more about what happens with the government, what can go wrong, what more can go wrong.
Elections.
It hasn't been an easy 5 months at all for them.
Hasn't. Definitely not.
And it's more for them to keep
I think they realise that as well, that they need to up their game, without a doubt.
And maybe Starmer needs to spend a little bit more time in this country.
He has been abroad a lot.
He has been abroad a lot.
I mean, most of it, though...
in the papers. This isn't me. This is a narrative in the papers. Starmer's globetrotting divides Westminster.
But he has been, but he's not just been on jollies, has he? I mean, he has been on these...
I didn't say jollies.
These important...
I think a lot of it has been...
meetings.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much unavoidable foreign travel.
He went to COP.
He did go to COP.
No,
that was a waste of
He didn't need to go to COP because not very many leaders did.
But then he went straight on to somewhere else as well, to another...
Well, he's been to the G20, he's been to CHOGM, which is the Commonwealth, G7, he's been to America a couple of times, and he'll be going again to see Trump, I'm sure, at some point.
To give him his due, you'd be worried if he wasn't going to those sort of things. What are online sickfluencers?
Yeah, this is really weird. You know the benefit system, the PIP system and the disability, applying for disability benefits, it's sort of based on scoring points, and you have these interviews with your assessor and all of that. And it now turns out there's a sort of generation of online TikTok and YouTubers who are giving coaching, basically, telling other people how to game the system, how to increase their scoring points, how to sort of maximise their benefits, how to get high scores in certain criteria, such as psychological distress, you know, just so they can maximise, as I say, their disability benefits. If you say you're suicidal, for example, you go straight to the top of the charts. And how you need to get into the top categories in order to maximise your benefits. It's really quite an insidious thing. I mean, we've got a real problem with disability benefits.
It isn't surprising that this is happening, though, is it?
Not surprising.
No.
Some people are telling others
Not
how
when
to
it's kind of
maximise your
gamified
chances.
in this way. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's
the
pretty
cost
depressing, actually, that there
It
are
is
people
depressing.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a major problem for the government because the bill has gone up and up and up and has soared since
nearly
COVID.
100 billion by the end of this decade, with
That's
nearly
just
there'll be
unsustainable,
yeah
isn't it?
It's
3.3 million people already claiming disability
something's
benefits.
got to be done.
It is a massive problem.
And so that the people who actually are deserving of it get it and get
Oh,
what
totally,
they need.
absolutely. It should be there for people that
course.
deserve it, but
That's the
it shouldn't be people trying to game the system.
No,
definitely
no.
not.
Right, we've got 1 minute left.
Oh,
Kevin.
shall we talk about this? Talking of social media and things.
Yeah.
TikTok sensation.
It's a lovely story. This is a 92-year-old man called Edwin Rayner, who was a singer in his youth. He gave up when his wife died of cancer 9 years ago. His grandchildren so he was given a gift voucher for a 2-hour session in a studio to make his own CD. He now goes back every week because he loves it so much. His grandchildren filmed it, put it on TikTok, and now he's got people like Michael Bublé, his label, asking him to do cover versions.
Wow.
So he's become a TikTok sensation.
And Disney have asked him to perform their hit songs for his legions of online fans.
Yeah,
So he's going down well with everybody.
He's got 450,000 followers on TikTok.
We'll see
and
if we can-
150 on Instagram.
We'll see if we can find a clip of him doing
He's
just
a
this.
retired
It's a lovely-
tropical fish dealer.
Yeah, it's an amazing
I
story. It's a
know.
great story.
Yeah, we've got it. We'll play you a clip later on
Yeah.
of him. Good on him.
Yeah,
That's
good
what
for
I
him.
say.
Yeah,
Let's just
absolutely.
hope
92, he's got a whole new career.
Yeah.
a fortune. Let's just hope he doesn't have to.
Just starting.
Well, anyway. Can we have a look, Kevin, at the Telegraph? Trade unions not happy with Keir Starmer.
Surprise, surprise. So obviously Louise Haigh had to resign yesterday. I think she was probably made to resign, strongly encouraged to resign, certainly by Number 10 when this story broke. Now, the suggestion in the Telegraph is that this was all a plot by a chap by the name of Morgan McSweeney. Some of your viewers may have heard of. He is now Chief of Staff for...
Oh, yes, after Sue Gray left.
Gray, yeah. Now, the suggestion is that he, obviously being aware of what she'd done, Louise Haigh had done 10 years ago, planted it with a journalist, and it came to fruition this week, and lo and behold, she's been ousted because she was seen as being too left-wing. Now, that is the conspiracy theory. That's certainly been pushed by trade unions and the left.
Could there be any truth in that? I mean, the story had to come from somewhere.
It did have to come from somewhere, and I would dearly love to know where from. Now, I've been asking one or two people this morning in the Labour Party what they make of this, and I can't really repeat what some of them have said about it, but they're pouring cold water on it, shall we say. They say it's not true, that this was a put-up job to try and get her out, because they're making the point that if Keir Starmer didn't like her or thought she was too left-wing, he wouldn't have put her in the cabinet in the first place, which I guess is a persuasive argument. But there's undoubtedly a strong suspicion that it was a political hit job. And if you look at the letter that Keir Starmer wrote to her in response to her resignation letter, it was very terse, very short, very unusual. Actually, Prime Ministers usually lavish praise on ministers who are resigning. No matter what they've done, they always find something good to say about them. but this was very short, and a lot of people reading into that.
It was short, wasn't it?
It was noticeably terse. Although he did say in it, I'm sure you've got a great contribution to make in the future, so I wouldn't be surprised to see her come back to it.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't so damaging, was it?
No.
It wasn't the worst crime ever. It was a conviction. But there's also suggestions in the papers that this did come out, that this was leaked during the election, but the Conservatives didn't really have enough detail or evidence to stand it up.
Yeah,
it
that's
didn't
right,
come
yeah.
out then.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, the Morgan McSweeney thing, how he won his power battle with Sue Gray, and now
he appears to be...
seems to be...
He's seen as the sort of
pushing
Prince of
out.
They hold a lot of
Darkness,
power,
Prince
these
of
people,
Darkness
don't
in
they?
the...
And it does raise questions about Starmer, again, about his authority and about his sort of judgment.
Well, he knew about this in 2020. You know, when he made her shadow Northern Ireland Secretary back then, she told him about this conviction. So he did know about it. But I think there was more to come out in this story, and the decision was taken, look, just get her out, and then it's someone else's problem. You know, she's not damaging the government if she's on the backbenches, because there's something that doesn't quite add up about her story, I think.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think it's how it doesn't smell right, does it?
There's a very naughty cartoon in the bottom of the Telegraph. Have you seen it, Kevin?
Yeah.
The Mac
Newman.
cartoon.
The Mac cartoon at the bottom, where there's a policeman going up to the door of number 10. He says, the ex-Transport Secretary has reported that a ministerial car has been stolen from her.
Ouch.
Ouch. But that's clearly the way the
There are
gossip
some
is
funny
going.
memes online.
I know, I can
with
imagine.
people opening their drawers and all your old mobiles, all your old Nokias.
Yeah,
And
everything falls out.
Emma, let's have a look at the Daily Mail, should we? As we hurtle towards Christmas.
Yeah.
If you fancy a family day out?
This really is quite astonishing. Your full sort of festive family day out for a family of 4, say, could cost you up to 500 quid. So that includes, what does it include? It includes your Santa's grotto, your Christmas lights display, your panto, drinks, snacks, merchandise, all of that kind of thing. Could be up to £500.
Whoa.
Yeah, but by contrast, if you went to Prague for a weekend and did the Christmas market, same thing, family of 4, hotels, flights and everything included, could be £390. But I've got a friend who said she had a brilliant idea. What she does, she takes her kids on the top deck of a bus along Oxford Street,
Yeah.
with a flask of hot chocolate and mince pies. And what a brilliant... I mean, that's probably a £5.
Yeah.
On a bus, up and
Oh,
down
the lights are
Oxford
amazing.
Street to
I saw them last night. Yeah, they are.
Really lovely.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way to do it. Mind you, some of these, I don't know what it costs. Well, I mean, they're saying Bristol, for example, £308.
Yeah,
Which is still a
obviously.
lot of money, but, you know, you need to get... I don't know what it costs in Barrow, in fairness, to go to Santa's Grotto. Not that much, I shouldn't think.
thought so.
But everything does cost.
Oh, it does, yeah. And this is the time of year when they really cash in, because they know that kids absolutely love it, and parents are under a lot of pressure to keep the kids happy and will pay through the nose.
Yeah, and they're
I'm not sure I'd pay that much right enough.
Well, they're talking about, and you're right, it's London prices, of
Yeah,
course, inflate everything. But when you do think about, I don't know, a German Christmas market or a Prague Christmas market, they're wonderful.
They're
They can
amazing.
actually
Yeah.
get away. Often you can get away, although I'm sure you'd spend more once you're out there. But the thing they're talking about is parents, this obsession with creating magical memories, trying to create the perfect Christmas for their children.
Yeah.
Which I think our parents just let us get on with it. You know, they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is before you start on presents and all of that, Stephen. So I think it's, you know, it all adds up a lot.
Yeah.
And it's worrying if you're already feeling the pinch.
I did take my dad on a virtual reality sleigh ride. Just because they had one in the centre near me in my town.
All right.
I said, oh, come on. He's just recovering from an operation. He's 79. I said, let's get on this. No, I'm not going on. I said, come on, let's
Virtual
get on
reality,
it.
did you put on a
the
headset?
goggles and all the rest
I
of it.
see.
It was, and that was £6 each.
Yeah.
For,
Was it good?
For 5 minutes. It was good, but I spent the entire time with my dad going like this. It went downhill or whatever. It was very good, though.
They're incredibly realistic, the
Yeah, they
VR
really are,
headsets.
aren't
Oh,
they?
that would be great for a little one.
I